What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Tape Never Lies pregame show. I'm Ivan Vargas. Right next to me is our man, Big Steve Edwards, former Chicago Bear. You see the alumni shirt on him. He's got it on right now. Big Steve, how you doing? I'm excited. It's another Bears week. We got Colts week this week. How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. Excited to be at home. You know what I mean? Here watching the game just in my basement, not going anywhere. Um, so I'm excited. And I'm excited because Nate Davis is not going to be starting. And my boy Matt Pryor finally is going to get his opportunity. Supposedly, is it official, Ivan, that this is happening?
Right here, we'll go with these. Well, first, we'll start with the inactives. Velus Jones is out. Curry Blasingame, Dominique Robinson, Keenan Allen, Noah Sewell, and Zach Pickens. So he's not inactive, but everything's to me is pointing to Matt Pryor being the guy. But I think it's a we'll wait and see type of approach. I haven't heard anything official. Maybe I missed something this week, but to me, it should have been Matt Pryor week one. It should have never been Nate Davis.
Yeah, we know they're going to validate everything, justify that contract, give him the opportunity. But I think after you watch there's clips out here that were going viral of his mishaps and just made up of him. We're not talking about Coleman Shelton. We're just talking about Nate Davis. So, the outcry was ridiculous. And they know it's not like me, you, Phil, Shane, anybody else didn't see that Matt Pryor had a good offseason and a good preseason, and he has experience in starting. It was just, matter of things playing itself out. So we'll see today. I've been vouching for the guy. I've seen what he brings to the table, and the thing is, some people are like, oh, well, he's been in the league, he's had some starts. He's not a big, sometimes, you're in the right place at the right time. And this might be his opportunity now. And I talked about last week on my show, this past week, that he's just sitting there probably like, man, I'm better than this guy, but guess what? He, hopefully today, he approved it. I don't know what this, he's injured, Nate Davis, or is this a true benching? That, is it covered up that he was questionable this week? Or if they do make this move, it's just like a true, you're benched. But based on last week, I think you need to move forward. We cannot play games. At least one of the two guys that failed us considerably, and then the whole offensive line didn't play great, but those two in particular, you have to make. I understand I'm maybe making wholesale changes that's pulling both, but you have to do one. And if I am going to do one, I'm going to do Nate Davis because it just makes sense. Let's see if a bigger guy, two big, large human beings next to Coleman Shelton helps him out a little bit, and then, let's go from there. If it doesn't, and it doesn't make a big difference, he's still getting his ass bull back, then we can look at Kramer kind of holding it down, maybe moving forward and until Bates gets back in.
Right. And I totally agree. For me, I could see it as a benching. The only reason because, you brought him in here, you asked him to do the little things like practice, Steve. You know what I'm saying? Be ready to do your job. This is your craft. Practice is a part of that. I know I want to go back to AI, Allen Iverson. We talk about practice, but yes, we're talking about practice in a physical game where play in and play out. You're going to get manhandled if you're not prepared. And Nate Davis is showing you that on the tape. It's a guy that's not ready to play football yet. And that's because he took the entire preseason off. And for me, you could tell the frustration is from the coaches. You could tell the frustration. I'm sure Ryan Poles has some frustration and possibly some regret as well. But you can't allow that, especially if you're going to be talking about hits and holding people accountable and stuff like that, which is all well and fine. But if you're not doing it, especially to a guy that you paid a lot of money to, then what the hell are we doing here? Like all that talk is just for nothing because you're not holding guys accountable with especially a veteran like Nate Davis. I'm all with you on Pryor since day one, Steve, and all praises to that because like you have been the only guy that's been like, yo, Matt Pryor, Matt Pryor, Matt Pryor. And like I said, I don't know, it's because he's rocking the 7'9", but no, it's because he's a mauler, man. You know, he's a mauler, and I think he will help this football team. With that, Steve, you got to come off the bus running, man. We got to come off the bus running.
Yeah, we absolutely got to establish the run. I mean, against a team that ranks at the bottom, it's early. You know, some of these rankings are a little flawed early on, but sometimes they say what they say. You know, right now they're not stopping the run. We're at the bottom of some categories, running the ball and rushing yards. So something has to give today, and we need to establish that. It's not going to be a good look if we can't establish the run game. And how do we establish the run game? Changing up personnel. We know we're not going to get it. You know, we're done trying to experiment with this with Nate Davis. So, you know, bring it back Pryor and let's start mauling people. Let's start getting downhill. Let's get under center, like Olenkruch said. Let's get the play action going. Let's get old school with this thing today. And let's play and get Caleb Williams some good protection off of play action. Allow him to get that ball down the field. Let's get him some nice, easy throws. And then let's start opening it up, man. Like this, let's take care of the young guy. And let's not get him crucified and all messed up. Let's get some momentum and let's get a good game. Let's let the defense play defense. Let's run the game, run the ball, and then let's take control of this game. We should win this game. You have a running back, a quarterback who has a great arm, but is inaccurate, is still young, going against a great secondary, a pretty good rush so far this year in the fast defense, and I think a defense could be elite. Let's play this type of ball and let's get a good win and let's get back home. You know that, and that's the simple thing. So that's what we're looking for today.
And it's just a couple stats just to kind of re-emphasize that, kind of just galvanize those points because I'm hammering home about coming off the bus running. The Colts defense has given up 474 yards on the fucking ground. That's not good. And I know they're game planning for it, I'm sure. But if ever there was a get right game for this Bears offense, this is it. Like you've had to have prepared this offense to run the football this week. You know, you saw the Green Bay Packers do it to this Colts defense, and they had their starting quarterback out week one. They did it with a backup Malik Willis, and not talking about bad about Malik Willis, but he's not Jordan Love, or else he'd be starting over Jordan Love.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We have to be able to adjust and run the fucking football down their throat.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you guys this because I'm sitting here playing with my lineup today, and it's just like fantasy, everybody's on it early morning making adjustments. Let's have some fun real quick because it's evolving when the Bears. I have Swift on my team, but at my flex, I got the what's his name? I can't even say his name. The Miami Dolphins running back.
Achan. Yeah.
He's one of them out. I got Gibbs from the Detroit. And then I have my flex. So I want to start those two. Then I have my flex. I got Devontae Smith from the Eagles. That's one of my options. And then I have our very own Swift, and I'm just like, I don't know if I want to start them. If I know for a fact, it might be a last second change. If I see Matt Pryor in the lineup, I'm going to make the move, and that's a tough one because Devontae Smith is getting a lot of targets. But what would y'all do? So this in the comments, would y'all start Swift over Devontae Smith, or the Eagles? Just a simple. Would you do that? AJ Brown is out. Look at James Daniels on it. Gotta play. Yeah, man, it's real tough, man. And then my other receivers, I got Malik Neighbors and Mike Evans. And I know Mike Evans got a tough matchup against Denver, but would I take Mike Evans out? He's Mike Evans. Like, he could get his. I know they got your boy over there, corner, who's one of the best. Forget his damn name. And then Malika Neighbors is a dog. So I just like those three receivers. It's hard to justify taking them out unless I take Gibbs out and put, So I know I got some guys out there. Devontae Smith for sure. Everybody's saying Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not. Do I take Mike Evans out and put Smith at receiver and put?
Mike Evans has been tearing it up with Baker, and it's a little bit difficult of a decision. I understand, but I think I
just started Baker today. I made that change. I took who did I take out at quarterback? I took Brock Purdy out and I put Baker Mayfield in to start today. And I was like, well, if I'm starting Baker, you got to keep Mike Evans in, right? That connection, if they connecting. And then it's done deal. Swift they're gonna have to show me before Swift gets in there. I can't take any more chances. And I want them to,
right.
Yeah, at least Jay, you must be this dude is a shark right here. This dude is like, no, this is what you need to do. So, all right, this real pre-saying Evans hasn't scored a touchdown yet. Yeah, it might be, it's a matter of time though. Mike Evans could go off for 2 or 3, man, when he gets in the Mike Evans mode. But anyway, just a little quick side note on that, because it was involving one of our Bears, and we talked about the run game and the Bears establishing the run game versus a team that's giving them 400 yards in 2 games already. So that's where I was just like, even just to kind of bunch into what we're talking about, it would make it. I just have to see it, because right now, do I trust Shane Waldron and his play calling style? I haven't seen, from the first to second game, I haven't seen any changes that he has made an adjustment to make things better based on the first game to the second thing. It still looked like a broken offense. And one thing about us in Chicago, once we see a broken offense, it seems like it stays a broken offense. We haven't really seen a guy who's come out and had the prowess of just like, okay, it looks terrible, and then he's fixed it. You know what I mean? There's been games where things have looked better, but it's just like right now it's worrisome that do we trust that Shane Waldron is going to put something together, stop trying to be pretty, and get this thing going downhill and get out of shotgun so many damn times. We will see, man, and that's what I'm looking for. That's one of my biggest things, Obviously the old line, but what is Shane Waldron's mindset? And the thing is, Caleb Williams is still on the back burner of my mindset. Like he is there, but these things have to proceed to make. Then I'm looking at him,
right? Yeah, no, and I agree. It's Caleb. These 2 games, they've shown us that. Well, 1. I don't think the offense is ready. 2, Shane Waldron is still kind of grasping his personnel. I don't know what, we talked about why Homer was in, why Khalil Herbert only has 10% of the snaps, and Homer had more, like things like that. We still need to grow on. And 3, Caleb's still a rookie. He's going to make some mistakes. And, people were alluding to all the passes that have gone over players' heads. I'm like, okay, some of those deep shots have. But if we're talking about last game, there was guys blowing his chest up, Steve, and that would cause a guy to launch the ball over someone's head. But nonetheless, he needs to be better. The offensive line needs to be better. And Shane Waldron, you have guys that are able to run the rock. It's your best trait coming into this season. That's what we did well. Regardless of Justin Fields, that's what we did well. Try to do that instead of, I think he's trying to bite too much, bite off much more than he could chew with Caleb Williams, because he is a guy that passes the ball. He had a ridiculous amount of passing plays last season, and it was one of the concerns that I had coming in. Is he going to be disciplined enough to know when to run the football, to find the rhythm with his running backs? And now a question that's kind of just popped up out of nowhere is the personnel questions. Does he know how to use his personnel in order to get the best out of his offense. And
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, obviously Keenan Allen's inactive, and I'm fine with that. Keenan Allen, just let's get him healthy. He's going to miss games. Keenan Allen is that's the one thing that's concerning. But when you get Keenan Allen on the field, you're going to get the production. So it's just about taking care of him. And whatever's going on with that foot, you want to be precautious with that. So that means Roma Duze gets the early snaps. But going to what you were saying, and James Daniel brings up what's concerning was Poe's interview this morning. Said the lack of is not a lack of talent, but more on the O-line, but a lack of fundamentals. Mm-hmm. That's a damning blow to Chris Morgan. That's a damning blow. But you guys hired this guy. You know what I mean? Y'all the one kept him on. So if I'm going to give a little something to Pose, I know that was a little shot at Chris Morgan, but that's a little shot to him. And James Daniel bringing the heat today with the fantasy and on the points. That's all coaching on C-Blow.
Oh yeah,
that's what we calling this dude.
Oh, wow.
All right,
James,
you got the C-Blow. He's going to be C-Blow if he were to fucking mess around today. How long do they have? They have for training camp. Clearly, it's both talent and coaching issue. Exactly. What I was going to get to is if I didn't see Poe's interview this morning. What is he interview on? He's interviewing in the morning
and on the radio.
It must be a radio show or something.
Yeah, it's ESPN 1000. Now that they're the home of the Bears, he does
Okay, and so that's a damning blow. And it goes back, just as much as good morning, Dan. Just as much as I'm looking at Shane Waldron, I'm looking at Chris Morgan. What are you doing? What adjustments? Because I think he's not capable of making any adjustments. I think he's not capable of putting a run game together. This is the run game coordinator. So obviously with Shane Waldron, those two aren't mixing. Things ain't rolling. So, and this guy, like I said, it's all good to have the X's and O's and know where you're going, but where's the fundamentals? I keep going back to the scenario that we were involved in years ago with Terry Shea as a coordinator that year, and our offensive line coach was Pete Hainer. And just a lack of fundamentals. The offense was broken, with no audibles, and just not saying that that's going on now, but that's how it was going on with us. And it didn't get it fixed until we had a new OC. And particularly, I know Shane Waldron, unless this is just terrible all year, we expect him to be somebody who would come back. Let's not get into all that, but Chris Morgan is a guy, if he doesn't get this shit right, I just don't think he's got the capabilities. I haven't seen anybody develop in his offensive line, and he hasn't put a good run game together. So pressure's on his ass. Obviously, Poe's making that statement says a whole lot. And Poe's is feeling some heat too. He's been people saying somebody, I forget who is a Chicago Bears. I know the guy covers the Bears. I forget what network and show. He does like a live show, like watching, and he said, "Stop drafting people who look like play like you."
Yeah, Pat the designer. He actually works for ESPN 1000.
Oh yeah, he went. That was a tough comment. I said, "Ooh," I said, I wonder, what those connections, all that stuff. We say, well, I also have to be careful too, because I work with the Bears and it's certain, but ESPN and their partnership, to say that was strong, man, and that stuff is out here and people are grabbing onto it. Like, is this dude drafting people that, like he likes their style comparable to him? Like, I don't know. I can't say that, but if this O-line, a lot of people are going to take a lot of heat, and Poles is going to be one of those that take the heat.
Yeah.
Not outside of Shane Waldron, but like Chris Morgan should be number one on the heat taking, but y'all kept him.
Right. No, I agree. And to Pat, the designer's point, like I could understand the frustration, but I also understand where Ryan Poles is at with, I don't, he doesn't believe it's a talent, it's the fundamentals and development. So why did you continue to keep a coach like Chris Morgan on your coaching staff? Like that's the thing. Like somebody said in the chat, oh, here was a Chuck Reed. Morgan was forced on Waldron too. Why do we do that? We do that all the time with coaches. We get rid of one coach or a head coach, and we continue to hold on to somebody because you have, whatever connection. Are you just trying to, make sure that he has his contract, sees his contract through? Is it that much of a business to you that, okay,
Yeah.
well, this guy's under contract. Let's not go ahead and terminate his contract because he's, he does this and that, and we could go ahead and make do with him in the meantime because he's under contract. Like, no, if a guy is screwing up, eliminate that screw up. You got to get rid of that screw up. You can't live with it, especially if you've been here for 3 years and you still haven't developed anybody the right way.
Yeah. I don't understand that philosophy. You just know those things coincide with each other. Forget the other positions. You could keep your receiver coach. You could keep your running backs coach. You could keep your tight ends coach if you change offensive coordinators. But when you change offensive coordinators, you have to allow. It's equivalent to a head coach picking his assistant coaches. You have to allow that offensive coordinator to pick his offensive line coach, or at least sit down with Chris Morgan. Like, hey, if you like him, do y'all coincide? Are y'all on the same page? Because if it's not working and you're not in the same page, then it's not going to work. You know what I mean? And it always doesn't work out that way. I mean, you had Matt Nagy had Harry Hested. He actually brought Harry Hested in.
Mm-hmm.
What happened in that whole relationship is Matt Nagy was calling some bullshit. Harry Hested's like, what the hell is going on? And pretty much in some other words, making his Harry Hested is a smart motherfucker. He's a guy who could put a run game together. And it puts it together very well. I don't know if he's ever had that title, but he's very involved. Offensive line coaches, regardless if you had that title or not, they are very involved in putting that run game together. It just was he saw the bullshit and was probably being very vocal. Like, what are we trying to block here? What is this nonsense? And that relationship fell apart because Nagy just, but so that lets you know you really have to have a guy you're on the same page with, or it's not going to work. It's like I can't remember if they already had him labeled as the run game coordinator before he even started. So that, we have to deal with what we have to deal with right now, but that I just don't that never works. That's a really backwards philosophy, I think.
No, 100%. And I don't want to, because I want to go move on to the defense, but just the fact that you've had him here for 3 years and you can't point to one, maybe Tevin a little bit, that has developed to a offense, to a player that you're like,
Tevin, all right. Honestly, that you see some technical falls in Tevin. You know what I mean? He's just he's a tough, nasty guy, but I think Tevin could even be playing better. You know what I mean? Obviously, a lot of that has to do with his availability on the field. But I think that's me watching him. There's some technical issues still there that could be ironed out that haven't been ironed out. He could be playing at such a much higher rate. Just in playing the twist and things like that, recognizing things and seeing things, and those stunts that we were dealing with in the middle with the blitz. You know what I mean? So I know, offense is obviously the biggest question mark coming in the game, and that's why we had to address it. But let's move on to some defense.
Yeah, so looking at the opponent today, you obviously have Anthony Richardson on the other side. Very, dynamic quarterback. Kind of reminds you of Justin Fields, right? Very, could get out of the pocket, a very strong runner, but could also beat you, deep down the field with his arm. Uh, I mean, to be honest, just make sure you contain him and make sure you allow him to do such. Because I think if he gets outside the pocket, if he's allowed to break free on third down and continue to drives with his legs, it's going to be a long day for this defense, no matter how good they are. But I think the speed of the Chicago Bears defensive line and the way that they've been playing in the secondary will be able to, nullify that enough to where they can get to him, affect him, possibly, sack him, hit him. He's also a quarterback that's not shy, isn't going to shy away from contact. So if you put a big hit on him, it is football and things happen and God forbid it's, horrible, but he's a guy that has reckless abandon at a position that probably needs a little more reservedness with how you throw your body around.
Yeah. It's going to be a different style that we had to deal with. You know what I mean? Obviously, more of elusive running quarterback, not your traditional guys going to sit in the pocket. But I think that still plays to our advantage with our linebackers. We have very quick, fast linebackers. I'm sure they're going to have some kind of spy going on. I'm fully confident that offensively, defensively, we can minimize these guys, if not shut them down. But we definitely have to play with a lead. Everything operates together. If we play with a lead, it'll make it hard. Obviously, I just not giving up the big plays. He has that big play capability with that cannon of an arm. So this is not anything get behind us. And I think, this is when we rely, hey, people talk about us not investing in the offensive line, and I think that's where it starts. But it is what it is. The investment came in at the secondary position. Those picks have panned out, which has allowed us to be one of the best secondaries in the league. So I'm looking for our secondary to really take advantage of this guy. You know what I mean? I think he's still young, missed a lot of last year. So basically he's still a rookie, actively playing in games. I'm looking for some turnovers, man. I'm looking for us to turn him, let's give ourselves a short field. Let's see some of that. That will help, not to put it all on the defense, but like, hey, let's get some short field. Let's get some turnovers. And I'm sure they're probably thinking that way in that room. Like, hey, let's, as Eberflus said, what did he say our offensive identity is playing complementary.
Playing complimentary football. Yeah, it's
which is some bullshit.
It's like working hard and playing complimentary football, shit like that.
Let's play some complimentary football, Eberflus. You're putting pressure on your own defense. Let's get some freaking turnovers. Let's get us play with a short field. That's what I'm looking for, man. But the expectations on this I keep on saying offense because it's just floating in my head. Let's be opportunistic. Let's play fast defense, man. I'm really liking this defense. I'm really liking this defensive line. I just want to see it keep growing. And, obviously Pickens is out. It might be nice to get him. I don't know. What's his injury, by the way? Like, how long has he been out for?
I only believe like a week or so.
Okay. And he's a strange one because we haven't really seen the growth out of him. But obviously, when you look at things, you look at, hey, can a guy provides us some depth, and depth is important. So it would be nice to see him, back in the fold. But hey, I like the D line. I like how we play. It might be a little bit of different style that we had to contend with, but I fully expect this defense to play lights out today. And keep holding on to what they and we, offense has to help them. Complimentary is part of that is fucking get a lead. That's the complimentary. But then that goes back to what's your fucking identity to get a fucking lead?
Right.
Come on, man. But it will be exciting to see that challenge of this dynamic quarterback because that we're going to face some of those later down the road and possibly when you get to the playoffs. So those are the type of style quarterbacks that are out here now.
No, absolutely. And looking at how the defense has played through 2 games, like I said, I don't think that there's going to be hopefully there's not much of a difference. There is they got a pretty solid O line. Well, I mean, okay O line right now. I think they're getting a little older right now.
Yeah.
But for me, I just would like to see the continued pressure when you have the opportunity. In this game, I would definitely like to see more contain, and then maybe bring a blitz from the outside where, in a passing down, he's not going to be able to see it. Try to disguise a little more with Anthony Richardson, but the main thing is to keep him in the pocket. See if he could beat you with his arm. See if he can go down and be a quarterback instead of just a athletic quarterback, a athlete as he is right now. I think big arm could have the big time playability, but let's see if he could be cerebral and drive down the field time and time again against this Bears defense. Real quick, Steve, Shane just sent me a text. Stacey Dales reports that the Bears quarterback Caleb Williams will wear a wristband today for the first time with hopes of having a faster, cleaner operation. Smart adjustment. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I always compare my youth football to our Bears, and I just have it. I live in the real world. I have a job, but I haven't had time to do it, and I have the wristbands. But I want to get my quarterback a wristband to make he's very smart kid, and he regurgitates the plays very well, but I don't have a mic in his ear. I don't have the whole sound, but I was like, got to get the wristband. I think the wristband is going to be very smart for this. Another adjustment to get him in the huddle. We're not taking any time. He can see it right there in his, so that's another probably a visual cue that's going to help him. And I think any adjustments, anything helps. Part of his progression. Will he be with a wristband for the rest of his career? No. This is just something you've seen. All kinds of quarterbacks have wristbands. You've seen Tom Brady with the wristband. So before any ignorant comments start coming, what does he need a wristband? Well, wristband really helps sometimes, just put the collective thoughts of the game plan right there on your wrist. And they got the flap. You can see everything and the concepts that you could be on point. Just trying to give him another advantage just mentally. But, hey, with the bottom line, you got a freaking block. So that doesn't really – but, that's another great – I think a smart move for him to have.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I don't see why it would be a negative at all. It's just he could see the play, visually. Like certain guys would like, that extra visual, help, I guess, for them to understand the play, or even, like you said, go ahead and regurgitate it back to the offense when they're in the huddle. So yeah, it's I'm all for it. It's cool for me. Any more on the defense, Big Steve? Is anything you want to add?
I just want to see that pass rush get after it. I just want to see Javon Dexter. I think my thing was to see him do it in the regular season, and I think we're seeing that. We're seeing that 3 technique get going. So just continue to see his development. I'd like to see Austin Booker. I think his role is kind of be diminished a little bit because who's the guy we brought in? The new DN that we brought in. We picked up.
Oh my God, is it?
I don't have my notes in front of me.
Daryl Taylor. He'll be, and I'm sure he was going to ingrain himself into my memory banks. Daryl Taylor, but I did see Austin. My boy Howard coming in. Thanks for tuning in. I said I'm catching the early birds. We're catching the early birds this morning. So it was a couple times I seen him. He made some different some wrong mistakes and some run reads, and just kind of so I want to see him get a little bit of tick and just continue his development. But I'm excited overall. The season's early. Last week was a disastrous feeling, but this is the NFL. It's a week-to-week thing. You've seen teams look worse than that. It was pretty bad offensively, but it's a team. We didn't look that bad. I know Houston probably didn't have their best game, but it was our defense kept us in the game, and that lets us know if we can get that offense rolling. And I think I think there's still answers out there, So, but I'm excited about this defense playing really good and locking things up. No, I agree. I agree. The defense is definitely holding up its end of the bargain. Uh, I really hope that this is the day. This is the week and the opportunity is seized by this offense with the clear struggles of the Colts defense that they get out. Like I said, run, and then guess what that opens up, Steve? Play action.
Yes.
Play action. Then you could see Caleb Williams with maybe less pressure on him. You know how we talked about how he's dynamic throwing on the run. That's the type of stuff I want to see. Let Caleb, instead of shotgun, let him work under center, let him establish the run, let the running backs get a feel for the game. This offensive line start pushing forward instead of getting their asses blown back constantly. So that's where I'm at with this offense. I want to see the ball being pushed forward at all costs.
Yeah. So, I mean, do we have any prediction? I think we missed out on prediction. I don't, because I wasn't on with you, but I know that's an element that we definitely need to get. I hate to be the prediction. What's your prediction?
So we had because we do the predictions on Wednesdays, but like obviously we'll have our own. Like I'll keep my prediction, and then we'll just have Steve's.
Okay, well let me see what you got. So, what was your prediction on Wednesday?
My prediction was Bears 33, Colts 17. With the defense, my bold prediction was the defense gets a pick six or a defensive touchdown. I think the defense is going to be able to contain Anthony Richardson enough and cause enough havoc to where they might get multiple turnovers, put this offense in quality positions on the football field. And let's see if Caleb and the running game can get things going and, put up some points on the board. But yeah, I could see the Bears winning this one 33-17 with the help from their defense.
Okay. I'm going to go Bears 31. This is to put 31 on the points. I'm just going to be optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, prior starting,
right?
Bears 31, Colts 14. Okay. I'm going to stay true to this. If Nate Davis is in there, and I feel like I got to give two. All right, Nate Davis in there, Colts 14. I still think the Bears defense is going to hold them to 14, and I'm going to give the Bears 21. I think we're good for 3 touchdowns. And that's how much the Nate Davis factor in the fucking game means to me that I'm going to bring it down. All right. I'm taking the touchdown and the field goal away from the equation just because I think he's good for a touchdown and maybe worse. Hopefully, Pryor's in there and we get the 31-14. All right. We got all our predictions there. We got some 31s in there rolling in, 31s. We all feeling optimistic, right? Anthony's right there, 17-14 Bears. He's keeping it reasonable. That's respectable. Anthony, 17-14. Everybody's around. I think the Bears defense should hold them. Howard, my boy Howard, 16-10 Bears. Hey, people ain't got no. I'm hoping that Matt. This is how big of this is how, and this could blow up in my face. My trust in Matt Pryor being a huge up. I'm not saying this guy's a Pro Bowler. I'm just saying he's a massive upgrade to Nate Davis that's going to help us solidify the inside of that offense and give us something. It's going to give us some physicality, which could help Darnell Wright. It's a chain effect. Now, it could help Coleman Shelton even. But, I don't know how much because he just still gets his ass destroyed. But it could help him because you got 2 big guys. But it also goes to what the O-line coach has done during the week. So that's it. That's my prediction. Sean, 9-6 Colts. Who's that?
I got Sean Stewart. He's a Bears fan. Trust me. That's
an ugly ass story, man. That's the score today, boy. I'm gonna be sleep on this fucking couch over here. It'll be knocked the fuck out.
It'll be the fastest BHL after the game of all time. Jesus
Christ! And you better tune in for the after show with Phil and Shane. Hopefully, I want to hear like Phil and Shane be happy for like. I feel like I haven't seen that. Like let's. They're gonna find something. We're that's our mindset. That's why we keep it real. We're not gonna. The Bears come out and win 31. We're gonna find something that we're gonna have to improve on. We're gonna talk about it. But let's talk about some glowing things. This is what we want to talk about. We're not trying. We're gonna keep it real. If they play terrible, we're gonna talk about it. But if they play good, we can start pointing out the good things. I would love to do that this week leading up. Sit here, Phil and Shane, come back with the big Bear Down with Big Steve. Another Bear Show, Ivan, and just let's talk positively. Let's talk about some of the things as we lead up to the home game the following week. So that's what I'm hoping for. Y'all got my predictions 2 ways. Nate Davis in, Pryor out. That's my prediction.
Cool. So I think that's a good spot to wrap things up.
Yeah.
With what's up, Coach Dre? How you doing? I know Coach Dre's a little late, but he's our guy. Yeah, let's wrap things up. We got the Bears winning today. Hopefully, for me, I'd like to see the offense kind of break out. Steve isn't, same way, but a win is a win. So I would just like to see the Bears get the victory today.
Anyway, and that would be good because if we can get the victory, we can build off of that. But yeah, let's see all those things. Let's see a victory. First and foremost, let's see a Bears victory. Let's see guys be healthy, and let's see some improvement on the offense, defense, special teams. Let's go in that direction and get your fantasy lineups, get those bets in. We need to get a sports betting
we could have a segment.
TTNL.
We could get a segment in here on one of the shows.
We need to start getting some sponsorship with somebody. We need to start working on that, but because I like to talk about it all. Actually, I've got to get these bets in. So get all those things, get your wings, get your food, get your coffee, whatever, blend, keep a toilet nearby. Eat too much, drink too much. Let's have a good time. Let's hopefully this is a break day for the Bears and bear down.
Oh, yeah. I'm about to grab a beer myself. All right, guys. I'm Ivan Vargas for Big Steve Edwards. This is the Tape Never Lies Network. You've been watching the TTNL pregame show. Become a patron today at www.thetapeneverlies.com. Like, share, subscribe, bear down. Let's get a victory today. Peace.